Hi YouTubers, you're back here with Chevron, and tonight I'm going to be doing a bit of a tutorial on the Invoked Crusadia Kaiju deck that I've been working on lately. So there has been small changes since the last video. I did post the deck profile on the Crusadia Duelist page on Facebook, and there was a couple opinions thrown around on adjustments that I could make on the deck. So I did a few adjustments myself, and I've come down to adding a small package of Sky Strikers to the deck. You don't have to play the Sky Striker engine, there's a lot of other things you can add. It does use 6 spaces in the main deck. It could be, you could just go with 3 Pot of Desires and 3 mind control, or even 3 mind control and 3 of another interactive card that you feel more comfortable running. But the problem with Pot of Desires with the Invoke engine, you run the big risk of banishing your the fusion spell Invocation, which is really bad because it'll turn off a lot of your deck if you end up banishing both copies. Usually you want to summon, get the Alistair out on the board, and at least pull 1 copy of Invocation out of your deck before using Desires. But there'll come times where you have to hard play it, and you do run the risk of banishing both copies. But with running the Sky Striker engine, it's more of a safe option of not having to worry about banishing, and you do have the ability of using Engage to search for instant outs to help break your opponent's board, to help push for the OTK. And if you do meet the spell the spell requirement engrave, you do get free draws off using Engage. And we are playing the 1 copy of Kagari, so we can reuse Engage to help get extra draws out and reloading your hand for a bigger OTK push. So yeah, and big shout out to the page though. I do appreciate people's opinions. I don't crack down on people who have opinions against mine, as long as you're not an ass about it at the same time, because yeah, it's good to have more than one mind working on a deck, and you can come down to pretty crazy deck ideas when people are helping each other out. So yeah, we'll get to it. I'll start with the deck profile, then I'll go off the tutorial that I plan on doing, which will help show people how to open certain boards with certain hands, because it does require different setup obviously to your traditional Crusadia open. If you have like Alistair in hand, so use so you use the Alistair to start the engine instead of using your usual Crusadia to start the engine up. Or say if you have an Invocation in hand and you don't have an Alistair, there's a way you can still make an Invoke play. So it's not a total brick, but it does require more cards to go into the combo, but the end result's still the same, and you still get the Macabre out to help protect your board to push for those strong OTKs. So yeah, let's get to it. So let's start with the Crusadia side of the deck. I play 3 Reclusia, a very good card, can help you get out of sticky situations that you don't want to be in, as well as breaking through floodgates or secret village that can end up hurting this deck. 3 Maximus, the heart and soul of the OTK of the deck. He will double the battle damage of a Crusadia Link monster you control, which will make pretty much go for game every time you're using Maximus. 3 Arborea, very good card. It's the protection of the deck, can banish itself from field or grave to stop destruction effects or battle onto your Crusadia monsters. 3 Leonis, 2 Leonis, not 3. It was actually my cut because I was over 40 cards and I really wanted to cut down to 40. And when I looked at the Crusadia lineup, Leonis was the weaker Crusadia out of all the playsets that I was running in the deck. Because I'm running such heavy archetypes that aren't Crusadia in the deck, I felt that if I were to make a cut, Leonis had to go because the other Crusadias are better for this deck. So Leonis is at 2 for that reason. 3 Draco, the recursion of the deck can help push for extended plays, being able to add back your normal summon Crusadia for the turn, so you could special summon the Crusadia you just add back to extend plays and push out for the OTK further, and can help you grind a little bit by adding back cards from your grave so you can have resources for the next turn and continue out that way. And 1 of each spell. So for pure Crusadia, it is a good idea to run 2 or 3 copies, mainly because it is a big out to Nibiru, and it really does help you in situations where there's a lot of negators on the field, and Crusadia power can help push through that and helps push through hand traps as well. Revival is the another big OTK of the deck, makes the link monster attack all monsters your opponent controls, but other cards you control cannot attack the turn you activate this, which is no big deal because you're swinging with your Equal Max or Regulex when you use Revival, so he will be going for game. And Testament, because when you have an Avramax on the field, it says draw 4 when you destroy a monster. Even an Equal Max, drawing 3 is still good. So yeah, and that's the Crusadia part of the deck. I will go to the Kaijus. I play only 4 Kaijus. I usually play 3. Oh no, I usually play 5 in the pure Crusadias, but I felt 5 in this type of deck build can lead to bricks you don't want to be in, mainly because you're not running big, so like usual like when you play pure Crusadians, you run like your big spells like mind controls and just other things that can help you unbrick. So you play a lot of other special summon monsters as well. You can play Prankletops, or you play the World Legacy engine that helps special summon monsters onto the field, where if you double up on Kaijus in hand and say you had Alistair and like no like Crusaders to special summon, it can make very awkward if you try to go for the OTK that way. So I went down to 4 just to stop that from happening. But Kaijus are a must to run still, because if you see Kaiju on a good Crusader hand, it usually means OTK. 3 Alistair. Alistair is just an amazing normal summon. This deck only works because of Armorage. You link away into Armorage, it points down, so it gives you a pointer for your Crusader monster to special summon to, and just adds the invocation to hand on summon. Your Alistair searches, magical meltdown, and very good for when you go to fusion summon, it stops it that it can't be negated. So very good for that reason. And it just says you're getting Macabre on the field, and Macabre is going to give protection for your OTK to go through. And the way you can open players in this deck, you can always make it that Macabre becomes your 5th summon, so you can see cards like Nibiru and protect your field that way. And it is kind of when I started seeing the Azathoth deck that's been going around for the Crusaders, it is very big out to guarantee you're pushing for OTK, but I felt like Invokes add a lot more go first potential and a lot more defense, and it makes it easier to go second as well, not having to rely on such a big combo spam. And yeah, that way it's just great. 2 Invocation, don't want to play 3, you don't want to see it that much, and you're searching it out of 6 other cards in the deck, so not needed at 3. And 1 Book of Lore, so you can make an OTK off the Invoke engine itself, which is also a great backup OTK engine, and it gives you more like interruption play. So if you use the Macabre negate already, you can go into the Rajin and make it flip a monster face down to help make interruption on your opponent's board to stop any plays that they could be pushing through. And 7 ways to search Invocation, because that will search you the Magical Meltdown. So yeah, if you already have Magical Meltdown in hand, you can search for Crusader spell, field spell. So when you do go for the Regulex play, you can search like Crusader Power or Testament, depending what you need at the time. And for the Sky Striker spells, I play 1 Afterburner, 1 Widow Anchor, 1 Hornet Drones. I felt like this is the best 3 picks for going second. Afterburner is great. If you have 3 spells in grave, you pop a monster and spell and trap, can really help break board for Crusader to succeed on the OTK. Widow Anchor, help for the link climb, also help add damage to Equal Max. You can pop a monster underneath them and swing big for an OTK that way, and helps with the effect negation if there's an annoying monster on the field like an Appaloosa or just anything like that. Hornet Drones needed because you play Engage, so Hornet Drones for the Kagari, so you can play Engage more than 1 time in the turn, which is always fun and unfair for your opponent. Sky Strikers is a dumb engine, and yeah, keep playing it while you can, because I have a big feeling Hornet Drones is going to be the next ban target for the deck to stop it from being able to be splashed. So I do say this now, have fun with splashing Sky Strikers while you can, because I do see Hornet Drones getting banned. And I play 3 Cosmic Cyclone because it really does help going second. You bait out Spell Trap negation, and you can stop Floodgates to help your players from being more successful. So yeah, that's the main deck. So for the extract, I play 3 copies of Magnus. Magnus is very much needed at 3. He is a part of the invocation play if you do just open invocation and no Alistair. So 1 copy of Magnus will be required as the banished target, and the other 2 will be for when you go for the Avamax play. You do need the 2nd copy to make Avamax easier, because after you make the equal match, you need 1 more monster special summon from the extra deck, so you usually special summon an additional Crusadia, turn it into a Magnus, and that's your extra monster you need. For the Link 2, I play Reglex. I think 1 Reglex is fine. I never found a situation where I needed to make a 2nd one, because a lot of the times I am making the Invoker of Madness, so that is why he's at 1. Play 1 Equal Max. I feel like I only need to make the OTK play once. If it doesn't work, I fall off to secondary win cons of the deck, of the, say, Invoker, because I am playing Book of Lore, and the Invoke engine is really strong, and I do play Avamax for the backup win con on top of that. And both Reglex and Equalmax can make the OTK play. And talking about the Avamax, I do play 1 copy of it, and I haven't needed to summon him yet. Usually the game doesn't last for that long. Usually when I get the Macabre out with the usual Crusadia play, that is enough. And a big thing to look over, you can play around Nibiru really well in this deck. You can actually force it that Macabre becomes your 5th summon with the Regalex, so you gain protection from the Nibiru, and you can still make OTK off the Regalex because you search the field spell. And Macabre gives Regalex a lot of damage, and depending if you've given your opponent a Kaiju, you can usually go for game if they have multiple monsters. But protection from the option to have protection from Nibiru is always great, and Macabre just also offers protection from a lot of other things that Crusader usually can't stop on their own. So the 1 Amraj, this Amraj is the reason why the Alistair play is viable in this deck, because he points down, giving you access to special summon your Crusaders underneath him to open up your Crusader play that way. 1 Kagari for the Sky Striker engine, and Invoker of Madness, very much needed in this deck. Can push for OTK off the Book of Lore as well, and he is very much needed. If you do open the Invocation and no Alistair, you can still make the Invocation play off dumping, linking into Madness first before going into Equalmax, that I will be demonstrating soon. 1 Phoenix, 1 Trispania for back row hate. This deck can have a lot of issues going into your heavy back row decks, so say Subterra or True Draco, you hit them with Trispania once. If this resolves, you usually just win the game. For the Invoke Fusions, 1 Purga Trio. Purga Trio is a very big monster. If your opponent controls a lot of cards, and if they control a lot of monsters, usually him plus the Alistair discard can clear a whole board, and usually your lead is that much further that your card advantage will become very great, that you can end up winning off that, and you can Book of Lore him afterwards into the Macabre for protection play for your opponent's turn. And 1 Rajin, also another Book of Lore target after you've negated, so the 2 Macabres as well. So I say after you've negated a card on your opponent's turn, these are hard once per turn negate. You can Book of Lore into a Rajin to flip a card face down to stop extra deck plays, leave opening up their field for your turn, and possibly doing a big OTK after that. So yeah, that is the deck itself, and I'll be showing a couple demonstrations on how the engines can work together. So we'll start with a small 2-card combo in the deck that you can actually see fairly often. Usually you only make this combo if your hand's fairly bad and you got to fall onto it. Your combos can usually be a lot more explosive than this open, but it is a very standard open you can end up seeing. Essentially, it's any Crusadia card with Alistair or Magical Meltdown in hand. So we'll start with Magical Meltdown and the Crusadia. So yeah, Meltdown adding the Alistair, normal summon Alistair, adding the Invocation, and here you'll link away the Alistair for the Almirage, giving you a zone for your Crusadia monster to special summon to, so you special summon it to the pointer, but before you linking away to the link 2, link away for the Magnus, giving you your light target for your Macabre play. So you'll link these 2 away for the Regalex now, and at this point you'll use Invocation, banishing both Magnus and the Alistair to summon Macabre under a Regulex, and depending what if you're going first or second, if you're going first, you want to add the Crusadia Power. If going second, you want to add Revival if you think you can make the OTK, or if you think you cannot, add the Testament for the extra draw too, because it can come in handy, seeing more cards, making the so essentially just card advantage against your opponent can usually end up winning you the game after a few turns. Maybe your next turn coming, you can try out for the bigger OTK push that way. And before you end your turn, so depending on what your rest of your hand looks like, you can do a couple of things and shuffle Invocation back to your deck by adding Alistair back to your hand, and it gives the Alistair play again for your next turn. If your Macabre stays around, you can also use Alistair for negating a monster effect off the Macabre. Sometimes you can have a spell left in hand for the negating spell effects, and you have the Crusadia Power to help protect the Regulex to keep them around for another turn if you can do so. So yeah, that's the small standard open you can make with the deck. Going second, you do see the 6th card, so usually your hand's a lot more explosive. So yeah, we'll go for the next setup. So with this hand, you are going to be looking at a lot stronger hand when going second. So not seeing what your other 2 cards are, we're mainly looking at these 4 cards here. If you do open this, it is a very strong play that you can end up doing for the deck. So we'll play through it. You'll go Magical Meltdown first, adding the Alistair, and again normal summon the Alistair to add the Invocation, and link away Alistair into the Almirage. So the start's kind of the same, and you'll say you will special summon Arborea first, link these 2 away for the Regulex, and this is where you start using the Sky Striker side of the deck. So you'll engage now, adding, didn't pull it out yet, so we'll add the Hornet Drones, use Hornet Drones, special summon the token, but then you'll go into Kagari, to get, say, choose to get engaged back, and then you also get Regulex's Search. So if going second, depending what's in your hand, you can again go for Testament or Power or Revival, but we'll say Revival for this case. And here you'll link these 2 away into the Eagle Max. So again, depending what the rest of your hand looks like, you may get the additional draw of the engage when you use it again. So we'll use it now. We'll just for this hand's sakes, we won't get the additional draw. We'll add the Widow Anchor, and because we're going second, we can take a monster. And before making all these plays, we could have engaged at the start. So say if they had a annoying monster on the field like an Apollo, you can turn it off to free up your turn. And yeah, so at this point, we can Invocation now. So we'll banish the Alistair, and we'll use the Regulex for this one, and we'll special summon the Macabre. So putting Macabre under Eagle Max isn't the worst thing. Not being able to attack's not so bad, but Eagle Max will be able to attack everything off the Revival, and you do have Maximus in hand if you had it in your hand to double his battle damage, but usually it doesn't always matter. If you couldn't make the OTK, you just search the Testament and get the draw 3 instead, which is also big. And if you had another Crusader in your hand, you could also try to go to Avramax to get the draw 4 instead. But I prefer to stop here because, say if any Crusader monster, you get the negation of the Eagle Max, and you also get the Macabre negation. So it can push for the win. And yeah, you did have the option to use Widow Anchor if needed as well, and shuffle back Invocation to get Alistair back in hand. So yeah, that is a standard play I've been seeing with this deck. You can make this fairly often, and it's actually not too bad of a board. I have been enjoying this deck. So yeah, we'll get to the next setup. So this is going to be the setup with the Invocation brick in a way. So this is Invocation with standard Crusadia open. So yeah, you make the standard Crusadia play, but your link 2 becomes different. So we'll go Arborea into your Magnus, sorry. And then, normal summon Maximus into Magnus, because we want to be getting Maximus back, my bad. Special summon Arborea, adding the Draco from deck. And then you link these 2 away into the Alistair, the Madness. So what this does, it will give you the target for the Invocation afterwards. So you'll special summon Draco now, getting back Maximus, and you link these 2 away for the Eagle Max. So you do miss out on the spell, but I reckon being able to use the Invocation is a lot better. And depending what the rest of your hand looks like, it could actually be a fairly strong power play. So here we use Invocation, banishing this Alistair, the Link Alistair, and the Magnus to special out the Macabre. But remember, with this setup, you won't be able to shuffle the Invocation back because Alistair, it's not the right Alistair to be able to make the shuffle back, essentially. So you do make a stuck in grey, but it's not a dead card. You still can make Macabre, you can still get negation off it, and you still special summon Magnus or whatever Crusader you had at the time for the 2 negators still. So it is a good, it can be a good setup going first. Gives you protection play, and it is very good going second because you do have access to 6 cards. We did make this play of 3 cards. So essentially 3 of the 6 cards in our opening hand. So it could have been so these test hands showing what you can do with combos. It really depends on what you have in hand, what your opponent has. So yeah, that's the open you can do with this one. I might do a deck profile on pure Crusadia where I'll show what your traditional Crusaders stand up can look like. But yeah, this is essentially the version I've been playing with the Invoked and Sky Strikers. But for sakes of playing Crusadia, if you open none of them and your hand was just traditional Crusadia play, and for people who are new to this deck and don't know how the traditional Crusadia player works, essentially it's just any 2 Crusadia monsters, and you can make the OTK. If you have a Kaiju on hand on top of that, Kaiju plus 2 Crusadia is almost guaranteed OTK. But we'll start off with this one. So you normal summon Maximus, go on to Magnus, then you special summon any other Crusader you have in hand, adding the Draco, and then you link these 2 away for the Regulex. Quickly have to go find him again. And then special summon the Draco, getting the extra add back. So you add back the Maximus, and depending what your hand looks like. So say we're going second, we add the Revival. And then you link these 2 away into the Equamax. So special summon that out. So Revival and Magnus. Revival allows Equamax to attack all monsters your opponent controls, and then Maximus will double the battle damage Equamax deals to all monsters he battles with. So yeah, that is off 2 cards out of the 6 of your going second play. So usually you could make this push through, and I always like Crusaders because they're fun, they're fast. It doesn't feel like a drag of a game when you're playing it. It's like, yeah, that is my small tutorial. I wasn't planning to make it too big. I was just mainly trying to show what you can do with the Sky Striker engine and the Invoke engine in this deck. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It can help me greatly, and you guys will definitely be seeing me around more. See you.